Watermark Books in Wichita, Kansas will be hosting Jenna Blum for her book Murder Your Darlings on February 7th at 5 p.m. See Watermark Books' website for more information. In this episode of Tiki Man and the Viking podcast, we continue our interview with author Jenna Blum. Her book, Murder Your Darlings, is now out by HarperCollins Publishers and is available wherever you buy good books. Now, on to the show.
I find that there were so many examples. My latest series involves a Jewish private detective who's considerably younger than myself, and we won't go into those details, of course. But there was a lot of aspects in terms of writing a Jewish character in Wichita. Now, granted, it was post World War II, but we still know that there's some. It's not New York City. Wichita's not New York City. It's not Boston in terms of the Jewish population. So there was an element of contemporary feeling that I was able to translate into the historical fiction. Are there elements of your personality, persona, psyche, whichever expression suits you best, that you either intentionally or subliminally wind up putting into your books, historical or the thriller?
Yes. And that could just be the short answer. I could just leave it right there and just say yes. Absolutely. And I think most writers infuse themselves into their books. And if it's subliminal, you don't know, but sometimes readers point it out to you and you're like, oh, right, you're right. I actually did put that in there. I didn't even know I put that in there. And sometimes it's very deliberate. For the historical fiction, it is more of a disguise because my emotions are almost always in display in the book, but they are under wraps in the characters and their experiences. And the experiences act as a sort of a puppet show that distracts the reader from like maybe my own experience. Like you can't get through the character's historical experience to think what might be Jenna. Although readers often assume that whatever the characters are experiencing, I am experiencing. In my first novel, Those Who Save Us, the main character is repeatedly brutalized by a Nazi officer. And I was at a reading once and somebody said to me, how did you survive the systematic rapes of your past? And I was just completely aghast and said, oh my gosh, it's fiction. I did a lot of research into, rape victims and survivors and how they process this. So I respect the topic, but this is totally made up. For this thriller, for Murder Your Darlings, one of the characters, the protagonist, Sam, is basically an me, to the point at which I was doing a podcast the other day and you could see my apartment behind me, and the interviewer said, oh, that's Sam's study. That's Sam's fireplace. And I thought, how did she know that? And then I realized she'd read an advanced copy of the book. And I said, oh, that's right. I forgot to put that in there. But I mean, she basically is me. So if you want to know what my life is like, you can pretty much just read that book and be like, that is Jenna's life. It's her writer life. The plot did not happen to me.
Okay.
Sam does not happen to me, but everything else happens to me. So her writer life is very similar to mine. She is a writer who goes from writing historical fiction to writing thrillers. I mean, it's pretty freaking meta. The other two characters are their own people. And those are my favorite characters to write. Those are the ones who seem to come out of nowhere, like down the chute into your head. And they're like, hello, we are here. Their voices are not my voice. I wrote both of them in the first person, which I've never done before as an author. And they were just a total joy. And I think writing fiction, for me as the writer, allows me to get out of my own skin and into somebody else's. And for readers, that allows us the same thing, which gives us both escape and empathy. And so this was it was a total joy. And I should probably tell you guys what Darlings is about in case people haven't read it yet. Right. So, okay, ready for my elevator pitch?
Ready.
Okay.
What's your hook?
Okay. So Murder Your Darlings is about a mid-career female writer. Her name is Simone Vetiver. And she's on a book tour with her fourth book. Sales are going down with every book. She's on contract to write her fifth book and she hates it. And she's also a year divorced and she's kind of feeling at loose ends there. and she's feeling really lonely, and she thinks, I would give up my whole writing life if only I could find somebody to share my life with. And as she thinks this, she gets a letter from a stratospherically successful, like Stephen King level successful, an extremely charming male author named William Corwin, who's famous for writing female protagonists. Like he's super revered. His name is the Virtuoso, according to the New Yorker. And Sam and William begin a courtship, and he's trying to help her write her fifth book. And as they start seeing each other, bodies start piling up around them in the literary community. And Sam has to wonder, is this William, and is he too good to be true? Or is it one of his numerous female stalkers,
Oh,
including a very persistent bookseller stalker named the Rabbit? So the story is told from Sam's point of view, the Rabbit's point of view, and William's point of view. And so you're never quite sure who's reliable, who's unreliable. And the whole book becomes this examination of the ultimate appropriation and how far people will go to write a good book, and also how far down the rabbit hole they'll go for love, which is pretty far, as it turns out.
this could be scary to read, as if we're writers. If, readers probably will enjoy it and go, I knew all of you people were crazy. And then we'll read it and go, I guess I was crazy. That's fine. Let's shift gears and talk about A Mighty Blaze. In terms of when you started it, and you talked about, the whole COVID thing and wanting to, push through from that standpoint. What was it originally intended to be, and what is it going to be? What do you see it potentially becoming?
Blaze is kind of unto itself. I mean, it seems to be continuing to be its own Blaze, even if I step back to go promote a book and come back to the table, like Blaze is still blazing along. So we still interview several authors a week who have books coming out. We have been doing it in different genres. So people who love mysteries and thrillers. There's a crime time show by Hank Phillip B. Ryan. There's a show called The Thoughtful Bro, which is esoteric fiction from everywhere. There's a debut spotlight. There's the Friday Frontliners that my co-founder Caroline Levitt and I typically do the interviewing for, which is for the authors who have these very high-profile, long-track careers. And so we've been continuing to but to give readers a chance to see their favorite authors in their living rooms on Zoom without even having to put on pants, which is great. And we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Substack. We're kind of ubiquitous at this point. You can find us most easily on Facebook and YouTube, the interviews. So Blaze was intended really to do exactly that, to bring books to audiences. But what surprised us the most was that within that first week of COVID, March 10th to March 17th, nobody was doing anything like this. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And we were like the only lifeboat rowing away from the Titanic. So every writer I knew was like, please put me on the Blaze. I have this book coming out. I've been working on it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and now it's going to be extinguished. Please, please help us. And we got really good press. Like we were talking to the Washington Post and to Oprah and to Publishers Weekly. And it was astonishing to me. And it was a time, being a writer is often being like Sisyphus, where you're pushing a big rock up a hill every single day and you're not sure you're actually making progress. But the Blaze was like being a kite. I just felt like picked up and I had the wind of history at my back, I guess, in some ways. And so we were really lucky. We have a great family of writers. We're all writers who work on it, all of us, every single one of us. So when we're asking the writers questions on interviews, we're asking writer questions, and that's kind of our secret sauce. And as for what it will become, I hope it just keeps doing the thing that it's doing. I honestly would love to see Blaze affiliated with a college or a university so that it would have a kind of mothership to attach to while I'm out doing my own thing on the road. And we'll see if that happens down the road. I would like it to become institutionalized, because right now it's just run by me and a whole bunch of other people.
What's down the road? We got the book that hasn't even been released yet in January. I'm talking about down the road, but we always think about the future. What is down the road for you? What would you like?
First, there's like the literal road. So I'm going to be on the road from January 13th when the book drops to about May. And then another kind of season, like, you get second season in Storm Chasing. There's another tour season in the fall. So it's going to be a year of promotion with maybe a little downtime in the summer, but probably not that much. And I have to say, I love this. Like my protagonist also loves it. Nobody is surprised. But like she writes books to connect with readers. I write books to do the same thing. Like I'm a writer who sometimes likes writing, but most often likes being out with a microphone and in one hand and a pen in the other hand and talking to actual real live people about what I've already written. So I'm super excited for Tor. I do think that when you are writing genre fiction and you're writing thrillers, there's an expectation that you're not going to take 10 years to produce your next book. And I think in some ways, the genre makes it a little easier because you have a kind of a plot setup that you're expected to work within. Like with
Okay.
literary fiction, you have to invent the whole freaking thing and hopefully reinvent the wheel and be brilliant, win the Booker Prize and whatever, blah blah. With genre fiction, you're like, okay, there has to be a twist in Act One, there has to be a twist in Act Two, there has to be a twist in Act Three. It has to be really surprising, you know. So we should not get a pass that way. And I have three thrillers rolling around in my head, like those
Okay. Okay.
marbles, so that when I do get to a stretch where I have a couple of months to sit down, hopefully by maybe the middle of my tour, I'll know which one to start with. But right now, I'm just kind of thinking about them and letting them percolate. So I'm really excited. I hope people like Darlings because if they like Darlings, it will help give some rocket fuel to that
Right. I
direction
getcha.
of my
Yep.
career.
Yep.
So.
It's
Now, are
exciting
you
to see the
thinking about
change.
a sequel to this, or is it going to be other kind of points of view on thriller?
I think I would love to keep writing literary thrillers, honestly. I mean, because I've lived this my whole life, and there are just so many scenarios in the writing world that lend themselves to murderous rage.
Oh my, she
I
has
mean, come
changed over the
on.
years. Yes.
Let's just be real about that. Like, I have friends who are on submission right now, not hearing back from
Yeah.
editors, and I think, God, like, don't give those people a shovel, you know, like, just please don't do that. And just there's just so many ways in which it's a kind of a tough slog, and writers tend to behave sort of badly anyway. So it's kind of like I could just do this forever. So I would love to have Sam as a continuing character. There are a couple of ways that could happen. Also, the rabbit, her bookseller stalker character, I would love for her to have a spin-off, but I kind of feel like the rabbit is pretty content with her role in Darlings and maybe doesn't want a spin-off. So we'll see. And then I have a couple of standalone thrillers that are
Right.
not necessarily literarily themed, but they're all kind of pressing on me at the same time. So we'll see which one elbows through the mental doorway first.
Well, your feet are churning, your mind is racing, and you're moving forward, and that's the best feeling for a writer. I mean, I just am semi-retired at this point, and as such, more time on my hand, and I'm like, Brian keeps talking to me about some old piece that we worked and workshopped years ago, and when are you going to bring that up? And it's like, okay, I've got the time to do it now. So, I mean, it is exciting, and when you have that feeling inside you as a creative, it is great because I just want to keep moving forward, and that's what it seems like what's happened for you over the past 12 years. Good Lord. And moving forward. So it's always exciting to see that and to know that you were already established and now the light is shining brighter on you and we're thrilled with your success. It's just been amazing. I
Thank you
sound
very
like
much.
I sound like your Jewish dad, and we've talked about your dad before in the past. So it's like, good, my goodness sakes.
I
Um,
welcome having a living Jewish dad. Thank you. I know. I remember talking about my dad who is looking down from somewhere,
mhm,
saying, "Good job, Cookie." You know, but it's always nice to have real life counterparts, and it's really lovely to have this feedback and perspective from old friends because you know what it's like from inside the writer's life. Like, there's a sort of revolving bookcase aspect, I think, to being a writer, and like what it looks like on the outside is not what it feels like on the inside, and what it feels like on the inside is boy, I hope this book succeeds because I love it so much and I want other people to love it. And
right.
also, my career is riding on it. You know, it's like it career rides on every book. And so, when I sit down to write again this summer, I'm going to have the same kind of uncertainties that I have with every book. Like, is this the right one? Am I going in the right direction? And, you know, every writer I know is plagued by doubt and fear in some ways. And then also, hopefully, the angels on your shoulders are your ideas that keep pushing you. So
Wow.
that's what it's like on the inside of the revolving bookcase. And so it's lovely to get that perspective from the outside of the revolving bookcase and to be reminded that that perspective is equally real, that you guys can actually see what I'm
Right. Right.
doing and that it might make a difference to people out there. Like that's why we do this.
Seems to be doing pretty good, lady.
Knock on
Everybody,
wood, knocking on my head.
check out the website, A Mighty Blaze. We'll make sure that the links for everything going on with Jenna are included in the podcast episode, as we do for all of our writers. And we will. This episode will probably be out. Will definitely be out before your appearance in Wichita, Kansas, on Saturday, February 7th. At Watermark Books. I would suggest if people want to see and hear Jenna Blum, they should go onto the Watermark website. I think it's Eventbrite, and secure their reservation. I have, the Viking has, so we'll be there. I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of other longtime friends and fans of Jenna from the Wichita area who will be there as well too.
And we hope to see you there. And special thanks to Jenna Blum for spending some time with us. And as always, read a book. Tiki Man and the Viking Podcast brought to you by Rumination of Thunder Media. The following intro and outro music was used for this media project. The music Find Them by Alexander Nakrata. Free download from filmmusic.io. License Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International.